Welcome back to the Westmoreland Sports Network for our Recruiting Thursday feature, brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Jack Ridenour here with you, and I'm now joined by current Franklin Regional baseball player and recent Gannon University baseball commit, Blake Bertucci. Blake, first off, my friend, congrats on the recent commitment and for joining us today also. How does it feel to make this decision and kind of have this weight lifted off your shoulders some?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a big relief to get the recruiting process done with. Not that it was a bad journey. I really did enjoy getting to see a couple of schools, but having that weight off my shoulder, like you just said, and being able to just focus on myself and improving so I'm ready for whenever I get up to Gannon is going to be huge.
Well, I want to get into the recruiting process some because, like you said, I mean, it's a totally different monster than people really realize when they get into it. But what was it that ultimately led you to wanting to go to Gannon? I mean, what was it about the program and the school that drew you there?
So for me, it was actually the last school I checked at. I have like a recruiting coordinator at the place that I train at. His name's Dave Morocco, and he thought that Gannon would be a good fit, and he knew Coach Cannon. So he gave him a call. He said he thinks he has a guy. So Coach Cannon checked me out on my Twitter, gave me a call, asked me to come up, and it was by far my favorite campus. I loved all three of the coaches. I loved the city feel of the campus. And some hobbies of mine are I'm definitely able to carry on up there, like fishing and hunting, which I liked a lot.
Yeah, I know everybody up there loves to fish. I've never been up that way. I hear it's very beautiful, especially in the
Yeah.
summertime. So I'm sure that you'll definitely enjoy that. What were some other teams and other schools that were on your radar and you were on their radar also?
Yeah, so it was mainly PSAC, some D3 obviously, but Pitt Johnstown, Cal U, and a school in Philadelphia that's a Division II, Thomas Jefferson University.
Well, hey, I think that's great. You had options, right? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good problem to definitely have. Now, I want to revisit the recruiting coordinator because that is something very unique. I have not heard anybody, and I've talked to a lot of different athletes. They have not mentioned that they have that. What was that like having somebody there to kind of help you through that? I mean, how beneficial was that in the long run?
It was huge breaking down like the benefits and the downsides of certain schools and like talking about the money and all that type of thing. He just made me look at it from like a different point of view, which was really nice.
Yeah, being able to have that kind of outside voice to let you know what to do, what not to do, definitely very, very helpful. But I'm glad you also brought up DJ Cannon. We're very familiar with him at WSN with his time at Seton Hill, obviously. But what is it like, knowing that you're going to be going and playing for a coach of that caliber and that has that type of pedigree in baseball?
It's great. His passes all along with baseball, all around this area as well, which is kind of cool. And knowing that he has a young staff with him as he is also young is nice because like they can relate to you in baseball and like they're still in the new baseball age, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you touch on that because being able to relate to your coaching staff, it can make a world of a difference in just maybe the comfortability that you have playing for that program. Now, when did you start thinking about playing baseball in college? I mean, when did that idea kind of get brought into your mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, it was actually later on. I'd say probably my junior year, I thought I had a pretty solid year, and I started to figure out like, yeah, I can get some college interest, and it's something I was definitely capable of doing. And I definitely didn't want to leave the sport because I love it a lot. So whenever school started reaching out to me, I was like, dang, this is really something I could do, which I always wanted to do. I just never knew it could be like realistic. So whenever school started reaching out to me, it made me really want to consider it, and I definitely am happy that I have.
Yeah, it's a great thing, and being able to say that you played a sport into the next level, it's going to do wonders for you down the road once you get into the professional world working. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a great idea on your part, obviously. Now, what were maybe some of the unique aspects to your recruiting process? I know obviously having a recruiting coordinator, but I mean, what was it that maybe you learned about the recruiting process that you did not know about until you got into it?
A big thing that I learned that, which is a good reason that I went again, is like with athletic scholarships at private schools, you're able to like get a much bigger scholarship than you would at like a public school, which was a big reason for me going to Gannon because I thought, well, after meeting with the coordinator and everything, like money was just right, and it also had a bit of a better education, which I really liked. So that was a big part of leading me to choose Gannon.
Well, it sounds like you've definitely made the right choice, which is very important. And I tell people this all the time. You want to find a place where you can call it home for 4 years. I mean, it's a very big, impactful part of your life. And so being able to feel comfortable in that place for a long time is so, so important. But I know that there's a lot of people that have probably supported you along the way in your journey to where you've gotten. I'm sure your brother Luca, who's really been a big part of your journey as well. And I know right now he's going through quite the fight battling cancer, and I'm sure it's been hard on you and your family, but there's been a lot of support coming to your family. I know that he had a little shout out on our wrestling show on WSN as well. So what has that been like for him and your entire family, just seeing that outpour of love and support for him?
Yeah, no, I mean, the support has just been amazing. Like, me personally, like, a lot of the time I'm just by myself at the house because both my parents try and spend as much time at the hospital, which I would also like to do if I wasn't so busy with school and baseball. But like bringing home cooked meals that I can like heat up has been huge. Gift cards where I can eat out. It's just been really nice having that support that I mean, I couldn't really ask for much more.
What is it like, having a brother that, fairly close in age and you guys can, work out together, you guys can work on those skills together in baseball? I mean, how much do you think you two have almost helped each other become better?
Yeah, so no, with him being a catcher, it's easy to like help him out as a pitcher, helping him stick pitches. He'll say I criticize him a lot, which maybe I do sometimes, but I'm just trying to get him better, and he knows that, I think.
Yeah, he definitely does know that. And being able to have that older brother to kind of guide him through that is always very, very important. But I know that we're in the midst of the winter right now, not baseball season yet, but you've got workouts going on. What is the routine like right now for you in terms of the workouts? When are you guys in the weight room? When are you hitting the field and the cage? All of that. I mean, what's kind of this preseason winter time looking like for you guys?
So to start off, I'll tell you about our schedule. Our schedule is weight room Monday, Friday, and we actually do speed and agility, which I think is really huge. We have a really nice trainer who knows a lot about what he's talking about. So that's huge on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And then a lot of us, which I think sets us apart, belong to a baseball facility right around our school, grind 24/7. A lot of guys from the team belong there, can go in there, throw, hit, and lift whenever they feel need. So that's really been big for us, having most of our players belong there.
How much do you think that can help your team as a group going into this season, not only with getting that extra reps, but also building that chemistry and just kind of that cohesiveness off the field and when you're just hanging out and getting to know each other a little bit
Yeah.
better?
I like that you brought up the chemistry because a lot of it is we're get just there to get better, but I mean we're there so often, just hanging out with each other. It's not always got to be so super serious. So we like to mess around in there sometimes, which is nice.
It's good to have some fun, my friend. I mean, you guys, after all, are
Yeah,
playing the sport that you love, so that's important to have fun. And there's a time to be serious, but there's also a time to enjoy it because at the end of the day, it's just a game. And
yeah.
obviously, it's important to find the enjoyment in it still. But I want to get into last year a little bit because obviously, good, strong, beginning to the season, but not necessarily the finish to the year that you all would have liked to have had. How can you bounce back from that and try to, put that in the past and have a strong beginning to this year?
So with us being young and having a bunch of returners, I think we can. I mean, we can all relate that that was a horrible feeling at the end of the year. We definitely should have been able to make playoffs, win one of those last four games, and we're in. So taking that pain and just turning it into hard work and preparing ourselves for the next season to not have to feel that feeling again. And me as a senior, I definitely would not want to end with that ending again. So we're definitely working harder this year to prevent things like that from happening.
Have you noticed maybe a maybe bigger sense of urgency or just maybe more hunger, if you will, from your team after that, slow finish to the season, especially during these winter workouts?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it truly was just such a horrible feeling. Like early in the season, we beat Shaler, state champ, Whipple champ. Like we were really high on the pedestal, but we just fell off at the end. I mean, I know me and Max didn't provide our best starts there at the end of the year. We had some tired arms, but it was a group effort. We weren't producing at the right time, so that's just how that ended up happening.
Well, as they say, there's always next year. I know that's coming up, let's face it, pretty soon if you think about it. I mean, we're here in
Yeah.
December. Before you know it, you'll be back out on the diamond. What do you think this team is capable of accomplishing this year in the WPIAL? I mean, you mentioned young team, but a unique aspect where you bring back a lot of those players that had a lot of time last year.
To start, I definitely say win the section. I think it's very reasonable. I mean, some may not agree, but I think we have the most talented team in 5A, like with from our young guys to even our seniors. I truly think we have the most talent in 5A. So WPIAL championship is not out of reach, in my opinion. I know like we may not have had the right season last year, but with 8 returners in the field, like that are hungry, like I don't see why it's not reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. 8 returners. That's a lot of experience that you're bringing back for varsity baseball. So definitely a big year coming up for you guys over at Franklin Regional. But before we let you go, Blake, and again, really appreciate you taking a little time today to chat with us. I know that you've got obviously this year ahead of you, but then you are heading off to your next chapter, your next stage in life. What are you most excited for when you get to Gannon, you step foot on that baseball field as a player and really begin your college career?
What I'm most forward to is going to be, taking that next step, facing competition that is definitely better than what I've seen in high school. And I think that's just going to humble me a good bit and prepare me to work even harder than I am right now. So whenever it comes like regular season in the spring again, and like I'm ready to get opportunities when the team needs me.
Well, Blake, we're very excited to see you hit the diamond this year and obviously very excited for what you do in the future. Again, thanks so much for joining us.
Yep,
Good luck
thank
this
you for
upcoming
having me.
this season. Of course, absolutely. And again, congratulations on the exciting commitment.
Thank you.
That's Gannon baseball commit Blake Bertucci. As always, thanks so much for joining us for another Recruiting Thursday feature brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Make sure you check out our other Recruiting Thursday features that are available on our YouTube channel. And as always, this is Jack Ridenour signing off. Never saying a goodbye, just a see you later, right here and only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.